Hi class. So this week was a little tough for me. The reading was long. I don't know if it was just me. It seemed pretty repetitious. They're talking about the same concepts over and over again. And so I actually read it a couple times and don't feel like I have a thorough grasp on everything. So I'll apologize if my answers aren't up to par, if they're not great. Did the best I could do, and like I said, I read the material a couple times this week and listened to it on text as well. So I've answered the questions that I thought were relevant and the way that I thought the answers would make sense. But basically, we'll just get started here. So the functional approach asks how and why communication works. In this situation, I think that it worked for a few reasons. Number one, I think that they were able to correct the issue pretty quickly on. Especially in the example that they gave where it went down 5 times in one night. They said that they were able to correct it with a slower system, which isn't perfect, but it is a correction, I think. So I feel like that's a positive aspect of their communicating. Also, customer service was up after the whole thing was said and done. I feel like the last couple chapters talked about how the feedback they received was positive, how the virtual feedback was a little lower than what they were used to, but I think that that also shows that the way that they were communicating and working towards this problem worked. I think it didn't work because of lack of representation in all of the locations, that were meeting less often before the problem arose. I think that if they would have been meeting more often, or maybe even face-to-face, which I know in a global market would be a little bit more impossible than it would anywhere else, I think that it would have worked a little bit better. So the meaning center approach asks what communication is. What is communication? And so I feel like this can be shown by the setting of goals so that everyone in the virtual team knew what they needed to be discussing. You know, they weren't just there for to discuss random events or anything like that. I think the fact that Jill organized everybody and set goals in the very beginning, let them know that this communication would be about a specific topic. When we are asked about a single idea that is most important here, I think that's difficult to put into just one answer. This was an extremely long chapter, and I think that many things were discussed. I don't think that one specific thing jumped out at me. I think that socialization and identification were both really important concepts of this week that they talked about. I feel like they were important if I had to choose just one, simply for the fact that at the end of the case study, it mentions something that the employees said they felt like they got such high marks because no one else would have worked that well under pressure. And when you're mentioning pressure, it's probably demanding work, it's probably a lot of work, and the stronger that the people in the team felt like they were a member of an organization or had that concept of we, within that group, I feel like that motivates them to stay, work harder, and get things done for the company that maybe a new person wouldn't have normally done, or somebody that didn't care that much for a company as well. So finally, CCO. How can CCO be shown as they all work together to resolve this problem by meeting by meeting. They improved their communication. Jill was the leader. Her and Ruggiero, I think. They picked the members for the group that had high level of skills. It says that they were chosen for their knowledge as well as their customer service. So I think that that's how they came together. And then they were able to establish goals, set goals, and issue assignments to each person involved. So again, thanks for the video. I apologize if I was a little off topic, but that's what we got. Thanks. Have a great week.